Today we're going to talk about the legal aspects of the teacher evaluation tool. The first article that we reviewed was called Teacher Evaluation and was put out by NEA. It discussed how this is something that should be ideally developed at the district level with those guidance pieces and outlines coming down from the state. However, it is not something that can be federally delegated to the states or the districts. Depending on the state law, this could be a negotiated agreement item. However, if you're in a state without bargaining, it would then just be something that is passed down from the district to the educators. The purpose of this tool should be to provide clear and actionable feedback to teachers. It's important, especially if we're looking for teacher buy-in, that it provide clear guidelines for where we should go from here and steps that can be taken to improve the instruction within the classroom and ultimately the student's learning experience. To ensure that we are aligned with the guidelines, we have to make sure that there is adequate funding for the tool and that we're providing the proper training to those who will be utilizing this tool within the district. Our second article was Teacher Evaluation Heads to Court. It was put out by Education Week. It looked at the various reasons as to why educators are now taking districts and State Department of Education to court over the teacher evaluation tool. A couple of different reasons that were outlined in these different court cases. One of those being some individuals had entered into contracts prior to the evaluation tool changes that have recently come about. Those individuals felt that they should be grandfathered in and that they should be allowed to work under the previous contract that they had signed. We also read about some individuals who were fired due to poor evaluations rather than moving through the fair dismissal procedures. They had a policy in place that stated that after so many poor evaluations, they could be let go. Another issue that was addressed was school-wide growth. Rather than just looking at the growth of students in your particular classroom, the students in the building or the district are all clumped together, and the growth measure then for the whole student population was evaluated. So for instance, you may have a PE teacher who is being docked on their evaluation tool because of poor performance in the math or English classroom. And then finally, one of the issues that was brought up was merit pay and whether or not that this is a fair measure to take based on evaluations, which again are tied back into that school-wide growth or student growth in general, but maybe not accounting for the poverty population or home life that may be different in various classrooms. The third and final article that we looked at was Teacher Evaluation and Issue Overview. This looked at really utilizing this tool at the district level to gain teacher support and make this a process that the teachers and the administrators would move through together. And we know that there are a great number of requirements that may be in place as you move across districts and across states. However, frequently, these things are tied into things such as tenure, pay increases, or student growth. So then the big question comes up, do we account for the whole child? Are we taking into consideration measures that may cause poor performance, whether it be on a single date or whether it be the needs of the student that aren't being met in the home? Poverty measures, the free and reduced population, the SPED population in a particular class as compared to other classes within that school or other schools. And again, the issue of school-wide growth versus student growth in the classroom actually taught by that individual teacher. And then finally, it kind of came back together with that question of, is this something that is working? Are we seeing improved instruction in the classroom based off of these practices, or do things need to change to make the instruction more effective? So looking at teacher evaluations in my district, which is District 249, we currently use the Talent Ed system. In that system, it does give the option for self-evaluation and artifacts to be uploaded and walked through. This can help with framing that conversation that occurs with the administrator. So the self-evaluation tool allows you to illustrate strengths and weaknesses that you feel that you have, and the administrator would have that in hand prior to the conference. And then artifacts do kind of give an opportunity if you support or contradict information found in your evaluation. You could then upload artifacts that would support your stance versus that of the administrator. This is utilized through a single classroom observation each semester, and then a conference with the administrator who conducted those observations to conclude out that evaluation. So for instance, I have been in my district, this is my second year. We just completed my fourth evaluation. I have a junior high administrator who does my elementary evaluation. My position is pre-K-12 library, which is split into two. So I've got pre-K-5 in one building and then 6-12 in the other building. District curriculum coordinator and district test coordinator. So the first three evaluations were done by this junior high administrator over my teaching in the elementary library. Of course, because I'm on a teacher contract, I'm on the same evaluation form, even though it really doesn't fit my position ideally. The administrator who did my evaluations had not been into my classroom to see me teaching those students at any time. This fourth evaluation, he did go in and kind of change up how he approached it, and he had handed off the responsibility of test security this year to me. So as I presented that to the staff, he kind of utilized that as my lesson, for lack of a better term, and then approached the evaluation tool in that manner. So as you can guess, there is kind of some frustration and some hesitation in what the building evaluations look like, because teachers want this to be a little more meaningful and would like to see it more closely related to what is actually occurring in the classroom. As far as evaluation resources, we are very limited. There are some documents, some Q&A type documents within Talent Ed that teachers can reference. I don't really feel like there's anybody incredibly knowledgeable within the building about this system other than just those who have used it in previous districts. They seem to have more knowledge about how the system works and purpose behind utilizing the system, I think, is what is lacking the most. If we have concerns with an evaluation, there's the conference with our administrator who conducted the evaluation. So there is that opportunity to discuss those issues. And then after that, you would file a grievance with the superintendent or the human resource officer. Questions, concerns could also be directed towards the district Teachers Association president if you were part of that organization, who would then in turn get you in contact with the KNEA representative. The legal case that I chose to look into was Letterman, versus King. Letterman was considered an effective elementary teacher according to her evaluations. However, with that student growth measure tied into that, it then greatly impacted her evaluation and actually changed her overall rating to ineffective. Due to previous positive evaluations, she really was not in any danger of any kind of disciplinary action. However, based on principle and for the good of the educational system as a whole, she decided to go ahead and sue in hopes of making a change and bringing some knowledge and some light to the situation and how unfair that this could be for teachers across districts, across states, and especially those who are now being judged on students that they don't even teach. The court ruled in her favor and determined that this was not an appropriate use of the student data. So a favorable outcome, however, she is still contemplating whether or not she should continue to seek further action in this suit, just because she is very passionate about the need for this to not be part of the teacher evaluation tool. So things that I'm going to do as an administrator to ensure that teacher evaluations are effective and that I am adhering to the legal side of the teacher evaluation tool would be to be active and present in the classroom frequently so that I am aware of what is actually occurring and how teachers are teaching on a regular basis rather than a single day within the semester. Next, I would want to make sure that I'm actively participating in the PLCs. I want there to be conversations focused on what are effective teaching strategies and practices that are being utilized in the classroom. I feel like this gives a great opportunity for expectations to be discussed in a more relaxed setting, So not only are we sharing expectations, but we're also helping to provide those teachers tools and opportunities to express a desire to gain more tools for classroom instruction. I would also be intentional about developing and following a plan for growth. I want those teachers to know that if you're on a 3-year cycle, this is not a conversation we're just going to have once every 3 years, but rather I want to be that support system that can provide tools, can provide opportunities throughout the growth process to ensure that they are able to move forward in seeking that growth that they're desiring in the classroom. I would want to ensure that I'm educated on current practices as well as the current laws. I think being tied into a professional organization is key on this, as well as being knowledgeable about things that are happening in the legislature and such. Also in this area, I would want to make sure that I was knowledgeable about district policies. We don't want there to be huge gaps between various buildings within the district, but at the same time, we also don't want to compromise my personal beliefs on the teacher evaluation tool and the purpose of those just to conform to other administrators in the district. And finally, I would want to create a culture that embraces opportunities for growth. I feel like if we're going to encourage students to have the growth mindset, we also have to have educators that have that same growth mindset. And we want failures to be opportunities for growth rather than an immediate disciplinary reaction. So I want my teachers to know that this is a tool to help better us as a building, to help better us as a district, as well as an individual, and that this should merely outline opportunities for skills to be strengthened and expanded. I'm looking forward to hearing more about what my classmates thought of the teacher evaluation tool, as well as continuing to further develop my understanding. Thank you.